Heading into a new month means there are new things that can be direct sown. Some of these things are flowers, some of them are greens, and some of them are vegetables. So I've got some lavender, sweet pea, and peonies. Poppies that are called black peony. I've never grown these types of poppies before, but I thought they were really pretty, so I'm excited to see how they do. As far as greens, I've got cress, Swiss chard, outrageous red lettuce, a mesclun mix, a gourmet mix, a bib lettuce, a butter crunch lettuce, a greens mixture. This greens mixture, all the best hearty salad greens for eating raw, including varieties of popular lettuce, mustard, kale, arugula, chard, endive, and cress, and others, although contents of the packet may vary. So this is like a really nice mix. I've got a freckle lettuce, black seeded Simpson lettuce, a couple of different types of carrots, cumin, and garlic chives. So I'm also going to be starting some root veggies, so radish, beets, daikon, bell radish, and also golden beets. So pretty excited to get all these in the ground. Obviously I have to wait until I'm a bit more ready for getting those beds actually filled out there. So there's I do have some soil that I can put in some of them. So I'll have to see how full they are and all that kind of stuff before I start planting, but hoping that I can be doing that, sometime this week in the next few days or so. And then all this stuff will hopefully germinate and I'll start having a real garden here. I can't even believe it. All right, we've got a lot of wind and rain today, but we've got a little break in it. So I went ahead and got some hugelkultur going in these beds. So there's a bunch of the stuff that I cut off from all the trees back here and also in the front. And then I've got logs on top of that. Same thing in this bed as well. And then I also have some soil in this bed. Obviously I need a lot more soil. I really wasn't sure what gardening was going to be like, so I just grabbed some last time I was there. This gives me a good idea about, how much I'm going to need per bed. And this is a smaller bed, so it's probably going to end up being 20-ish bags in here, which probably means it's going to be around 40 bags in the other two, like each. So I'm looking at buying, 120, 140 more bags of soil. It's crazy. It's also a little bit infuriating because I just did this whole getting situated last year, and then, because of the way everything went at the co-op, I had to move. So that's a lot of money down the drain for one really rotten year of gardening. Obviously that won't be happening here. My plan is to stay here. I mean, obviously that could change. I'm only 40, so I could definitely have a life change at some point, but my mortgage goes for 3 years. My goal is to have this place fixed up by then, just in case something does change, but I'll be gardening here for many years to come and probably forever. So that's what's going today. I have a little mix of onion sets. I haven't ever grown them from sets before. I've heard mixed reviews about sets, but I'm going to go ahead and plant them in the same bed with my greens. Obviously there's some weeds going on now, which honestly I don't really care. I'm just going to get these onions in and I'll kind of update this bed later. There are some things that I planted that are starting to germinate as well now that it's warming up a bit, so that's exciting. Pretty sure that is actually a weed coming up right there. They're these kind of little types, so I'll pull those out later, but for now I'm just gonna get to planting my my onions. So I've got a nightingale, cherry tomato, got a Cinnamon Girl cherry tomato, so we're comparing these two. I've got a slicer and a slicer, so those two are getting compared. And then I've got a bok choy, a bacana. Now this one started green and they're breeding it to purple, so that's what we're looking for with that one. Tulsi basil, we're just looking to see how northern hardy that strain is. Same with calendula, we're looking at hardiness, and then ashwagandha, we're looking at hardiness, and then a few other things. But these ones we're comparing different types, and we're kind of just observing how these do in a northern climate. So I'm pretty excited to get started on that. I'm going to get all these seeds planted tomorrow. I have to keep track, so I'm going to set myself up with a spreadsheet so I can keep track of everything, and I'll keep you posted on how everything goes with the seed trial. So I'm doing a fun little pivot in my projects because the dogs have decided that they want to explore past the property line. So I went ahead and drug this over here because I needed to see distance. So the plan is to get a couple of posts for this and then have just some metal fencing along here. The treat area, I know it's really hard to tell, but the tree area does have some metal fencing here, so they won't be able to get out between the trees. But I'll need to extend that to the post for this gate. And then on this side as well, I'll have to extend it around. There is also some fencing back in those woods. I know, again, you can't really tell, but it is back there. So I got this fence drug over. It's lucky that it was on the property, frankly, but I'm going to go ahead and get that up and working for tomorrow. And then I also did a little thing at the front gate, which I'll show you. There already was a front gate, but there was a huge gap in it. And let's also keep in mind that it was in really bad condition, so it is what it is for now. It's not a permanent solution, but it's a free solution for now. So I just attached that board to the short side, and it bridges the gap, and it also helps hold that fence up. So when I open it for the car to move, I just have to move this a little bit and then swing that one all the way open, and then my car will fit through. But it also keeps the dogs in. And again, there is metal fencing in the trees over there, so they can't just go around. So hoping this will keep them in the yard, you know, long term. I'd like them to have a nice bit of space to run in. If this doesn't work, then my plan is to take the backside off this porch. Here, I'll show you. So I can take the backside off this porch and create a staircase down and then run a fence line along here. But it would have to be long and go all the way down to keep them in. But then they could just, I can open the front door, they can run down these stairs and have this whole area to play in. So we'll see. If that other fencing I've put up doesn't work, then I'll enclose something over here for them so that they can run and play and have fun, but not run off or go in the road. Percy never used to do that, so I'm blaming Nigel because I think he's the instigator. But we'll see. I mean, Percy's over 3 years old now, so I think if she were going to run off, she would have. So I definitely think it's Nigel. Anyway, now that there's no snow, you can see just how crappy everything looks out here, but never fear, I am going to be cleaning it up slowly but surely. Already got that fence out of the way to be used over there, so that's one step. Yeah, so there's all these propane tanks that I can take to recycling eventually, and a lot of this stuff is just garbage, so it'll just be a bunch of trips to the dump this summer. Spring and summer, maybe even fall, I don't know. The other fun news is that there's not long before the bears come back, so I'm gonna have to start being very vigilant for the bears, and I'm hoping to get some good footage of them for you. They're probably right up there right now, feeding on whatever they can find coming out of their dens, and they're gonna slowly work their way down. My neighbor was just telling me that they often show up in May or June, but that they're here the most in August. So be on the lookout for some bear content this summer. But look how gorgeous it is here. Isn't it just beautiful? I mean, minus my very dirty yard. So I just wanted to give you a little update. You just saw a clip of me working on the fence for the dogs. That was a few days ago. I actually was trying to straighten out the chain link on that gate, and the whole thing whacked me. So I have a huge goose egg on my head. I have a small concussion. I have a little scratch here. And super fun, my glasses are actually broken. I've already ordered new ones, but that's been fun for the last several days. I do, and the plan long term is to basically rotate between garden content and construction content, but because of the injury, they told me I had to take it easy for a bit. So you're going to be getting a bit more like front-loaded garden content, but just know that the construction content is coming. I am going to start on the kitchen. I have started on the kitchen a little bit, but I'm going to get into the meat of the kitchen and have that video out for you in the next couple weeks. So if you're here mainly for that content, it helps me out a lot if you watch the garden content anyway. But if you're here for the construction content, just check back in a couple of weeks. I'll post an update to let you know that that video is coming. But it does me a lot of good as far as getting more views and such if you stick around for the other content as well. I'm not monetized or anything like that, but it would be great to be monetized. So if you feel like sticking around for the gardening content, that would be great. I will tell you, there's going to be a lot of gardening content in the future. And then obviously over the summer, there's going to be a ton of gardening content as the garden is going to be taking up a lot of my time. So hopefully you'll be here for some of that as well. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. See you next time. I got in my last orders of seeds. They took longer because they were coming from the States, but my In My Gardener ones showed up, as did my Baker Creek. These are In My Gardener, they do sell in Canada, but they're, at least here, there's not a big variety, so I ordered some cool tomatoes from their website. And then Baker Creek, I've never seen in Canada. They do ship here, obviously, but I did have to pay almost a $40 import fee. So if you're interested in Baker Creek and you live in Canada, just know that they're going to ding you when you go to pick up your seeds from the post office. It's going to be a surprise. You won't know it, and they'll just tell you when you get there. So I did get a few different types of corn. I do already have some other corn too, but look how fun these varieties are. I just really want to grow stuff that's fun. And I love purple, so there is going to be kind of a purple theme through quite a bit of this. But this is a regular sweet corn. It just looks really cool. This one is good for corn flour. And then this one is good for corn meal, which is basically the same thing, except the corn meal is more coarsely ground. So those all do something a little different, and I thought I'd just give it a try. I'm going to plant them fairly far apart, and then I'm also going to start them, you know, a little bit staggered so that hopefully they don't cross-pollinate. I only got 2 sweet peppers from them this time around. I got the mini bell peppers, and they're different than like lunchbox peppers. They have a different shape. And I'm just kind of excited to see what they're like. Plus there's a purple one. And then I got these Murasaki purple, which sort of look hot, but apparently they're sweet peppers. So I'm going to give those a try. Next we have kind of the miscellaneous stuff. So 2 different cauliflowers. This has a Romanesco shape, which is why I wanted to try it. And then obviously a purple. 2 different types of okra. I love okra, so I'm hoping those will grow well here. I've got these super awesome fava beans, but they're purple, which I was excited about. And then I also got these sunset runner beans. Look how pretty they are. I literally just got them because they're pretty. I mean, I really eat a lot of beans, so it's not like they'll go to waste and I'm only growing them because they're pretty, but I'm growing that variety because they're pretty. Next category are the melons. I've never grown any of these melons before. I did try to grow the Tigger melons last year, but there were so many pest issues that they never made it past, a bit of a vine. So hoping those go well this season. I'm really excited to try all these. I really like melons. So I don't have a lot of feedback because I haven't actually had one of those. This is like a honeydew melon apparently, which I love a honeydew melon, and this is like a different cool looking variety of it. But the rest of these, I don't really know what to expect. I'm just really excited to try them, and I like how they look. Like they're all colorful and really fun. These are the spicy peppers I got. Buena Mulata, because it's purple, obviously. These Puma peppers I got because they're absolutely beautiful. Zapotec jalapeno, which, yeah, so that's an extra hot jalapeno. And then this is a Sugar Rush peach, which I've never had before, but I've heard a lot of people talk about it, and apparently they're amazing. So excited to try that one. And then I also got these just mainly because of the shape and the color. They just look really cool. And they're supposed to be not as hot as a jalapeno. And truth be told, I'm not good with spice. I'm trying these mostly because I think it's fun and they look pretty. Habanada is like a habanero flavor, but without the spice, although supposedly they can be spicy. And then I also got this one again because it's purple. I also think the shape is really cool. I don't know if you can tell, but they're sort of like round and blunted at the end. So I just want to try a bunch of hot peppers. I'm also having a booth at the farmer's market, so whatever I don't eat, I'll just sell. I know, it's too many tomatoes, but I love tomatoes. And when I was a pretty young kid, actually, my parents would just give me a tomato in my high chair and I would eat it like an apple. I just love tomatoes. I've always loved tomatoes. A lot of these are varieties that I've never had before, and I'm just really excited to try them because other creators have said that they're their favorites. Some of them I just got because of the coloring. Some of them I just got because I like the name. So trying a bunch of different types. I'm going to do a full video at the end of, well, maybe not the end of the season, but partway through the season at least, when I have some of each. I'm going to do like a taste test of all of them so that we can go through them all together and decide which ones are just pretty and don't have a lot to offer and which ones are also delicious on top of being pretty. So I've got Orange Peach, Dad's Sunset, Thornbird's Terracotta, Green Giant, Kentucky Beefsteak, Queen of the Night, White Currant, which are teeny tiny little bitty ones, Sart Rolloy, Pink Jazz, Berkeley Tie-Dye Green, Orange Accordion, which I love how that looks. I know that it's not good for canning, but I love how it looks. Brad's Atomic Grape, which I've heard a lot about. Isis Candy Cherry, Alice's Dream, Get Stuffed, which is, as you can see, this is one that you can actually like fill up with a filling and eat it that way. Pineapple, True Black Brandy Wine, Pork Chop, and Rebel Starfighter Prime. So that is what we're working with, minus the ones I've already started. From In My Gardener, I also ordered a bunch of really cool tomatoes and one cool tomatillo. Again, I really base this on what they look like so that they'll be like amazingly beautiful in the garden. And then also some of these are ones that have been recommended by people that I follow, so I just wanted to give them a try. I also got a really good green tomato because I really want to do some fried green tomatoes. I'm originally from Texas, so that's a thing. But yeah, I've got Mad Hatter, Emerald City, Bubblegum Centiflora, which, I mean, look at that. Look how beautiful that is. They're all beautiful. Solar Eclipse, Ananazi Noir, Yellow Stuffer, which is another one that you can fill up to eat. Persimmon, Kellogg's Breakfast, Green Zebra, Aunt Ruby's German Green, Cherokee Purple, and then a Pineapple Tomatillo, which kind of looks like a ground cherry, but I'm excited to see what that's like. If you do place an order with Baker Creek, they send you a bunch of free seeds, which is also really fun. So I've got some extra carrots, some free Jimmy Nardellos, which I think is kind of amazing because often those are kind of expensive. I got a Sweet Passion Melon, which looks like a cantaloupe. And then I've got some giant red mustard greens and some Indian coriander. And this is like marked differently. Free gift, but marked differently than like these ones all say free seed at the top. So anyway, that's pretty cool. So I've got some extra coriander to grow, which is always a good thing because I love cilantro. Perfect. Yeah, that's everything I've got from my batch right now. Gonna be growing peanuts this year. Never done it before. Super excited to try it. I got these from Baker Creek, and these are black peanuts. So I'm going to be cracking all these open to get out the actual peanut. You want to keep this black skin on. The likelihood, I mean, I don't know. The likelihood is that underneath this skin, these are a pretty like more traditional peanut color. Often if there's a color to a peanut, it's just the skin. But when you're growing these, you want the skin to stay on. So I'm going to crack all these open. I'm going to put these in some water overnight, and then they will start to germinate. And then once they germinate, I can start planting them. I'm going to use the grow bags that I have for these, at least some of them, not all of them, but probably going to grow most of these in containers. They don't go very deep in the soil, so they do okay in containers. I mean, even things like potatoes do well in containers, but you'll get like a smaller harvest. As long as you have a pretty good sized container, supposedly you get a pretty good harvest with these. So I'm gonna give it a try and we'll see how it goes.